Update. My boyfriend's brother is asking us to break up or else he'll walk out of the family. Original post. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, have been together since we were 17. We have a healthy relationship, and I have a fantastic relationship with his family as well. I spent every Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then events in between with his family. His mom and I get along really well, and my boyfriend annoyingly complains about how she calls me more than him. Same with his father, who's been a second father figure to me. It always reminds me I'm more like a daughter to him than his son's girlfriend. My boyfriend has an older brother, 24 male, who I also get along with just fine, but is more kept to himself, so I don't know him as well as the rest. His older brother recently got himself a girlfriend, and actually the first time since I've met him as he had a girlfriend. This Halloween weekend was my boyfriend's parents' anniversary, and they invited me over, as usual, but also asked the brother to bring his girlfriend over for the first time. His girlfriend is the same age as me, so I was looking forward to meeting her. That Saturday, I arrived at my boyfriend's parents' place early, as me and his mother had plans to cook a large meal for everyone. That afternoon was mostly just me and my boyfriend and his parents hanging out. The girlfriend came later in the evening with his brother. Right off the bat, she became overly comfortable with my boyfriend and his father. She said, "I didn't know all the men in your family are handsome," and gave both men a rather tight and long hug. She then made her way over to his mother, ignoring me completely and saying, "You're so pretty. Watch out though, your husband's on my radar." Immediately his mother turned to me and whispered, "I have a bad feeling about her." We stayed in the kitchen, but the kitchen looks into the living room, so we saw everything go down. The girlfriend sat on both my boyfriend's and his dad's lap when trying to talk to them, and both men seemed uncomfortable. Soon my boyfriend joined us in the kitchen and said, "I don't like her." I called her over to taste the pasta. Well, I like spicy food, but I didn't know if she could handle it. To which she took a bite and said, "It's good. I see why they keep bringing you around." That compliment felt backhanded, and I felt more uneasy with her. We sat up the dining table and it was time for dinner. My boyfriend's family usually says grace before the meal, and invited a girlfriend to lead today as she was a guest. The girlfriend accepted and happily thanked God for the food and all the members, intentionally leaving me out of the grace. I didn't mind too much, but my boyfriend and his mom looked at me with the "you saw that" look in their eyes. As the dinner moved along, my boyfriend's dad grilled her with questions about her life and this and that, something he did to me as well. She seemed like a decent girl from a decent background. After he was done, he started asking me about the things I was working on and my plans for graduate school. Before I could answer, she interrupted and started talking about her work and how much she hated it. I could tell my boyfriend's dad didn't really want to listen, as he gave dry responses back and then turned back to me and just asked how my family was doing. This trend went on the whole night, where every time I was acknowledged, she would interrupt me. Near the end of dinner, she jokingly said, "Be careful, David," the brother's name. "I might just leave you for Blake," my boyfriend's name. I'm at a point where I don't get jealous or annoyed at this type of stuff. So I went along and said, "Yeah, Blake, remember to invite me to the wedding when it happens." That seemed to be the breaking point for the girlfriend, as she started crying out and saying, "She's been trying to embarrass me the entire night." She then went on a ramble about how I'm hogging my boyfriend's family and making her look bad in front of them. Right after dinner, she dragged my boyfriend's brother out of the house with her and they left for the night. We invited them to stay over for the weekend. My boyfriend's family apologized to me for having to witness that, and we all chilled down to some drinks and kept the celebration going without them. The next day, my boyfriend's mother gets a call from the brother who seemed extremely pissed off. She put her phone on speaker so we all heard him talk. He said his girlfriend is really upset with me and his family. How she's now having doubts about him and their relationship. She says that as long as I'm involved in the family, she doesn't think that a relationship with him will work out. The brother then began to ask that I break up with my boyfriend, so his girlfriend would stop crying and finally have peace with their relationship. My boyfriend denied the request, so did his parents, to which the brother then said, "Either she's out of the family or I am. I don't want to end this relationship over someone who's not related to us in the first place." Since then, no one has been able to get a hold of him and is stressing his parents and my boyfriend out a lot. I feel guilty, but also confused on what to do. I don't want to break apart this family, but I love my boyfriend and his parents too. I don't know what to do or how to process any of this. Now for the top advice before reading the update. So he leaves, sees what a train wreck she is, and comes back in a year or 3, tail between his legs. He's got some growing up to do. A year or 3. No way he lasts that long, unless it knocks her up. If that happens, then he is well and truly screwed. Don't disagree with the basic advice to let the brother run off with his ticking bomb. Just wait for him to curl back with his face blown off. Yeah, she's going to isolate him. The emotional mistreatment has already started and will get worse. I don't want to end this relationship over someone who's not related to us in the first place. And yet is willing to end it because of his girlfriend. Dude needs to take a chill pill and dump the overly dramatic twat. You hope the brother sees sense and dump this crazy lady. Don't you dare feel guilty. You did nothing wrong. And give your boyfriend's mom and dad a hug. It's wonderful when you find a great family. Sounds like they got your back. Don't engage. The girlfriend is clearly disliked by the entire family. The brother is clearly desperate for the first person that showed him some attention. She was grossly inappropriate and made everyone uncomfortable. Leave yourself out of it. The brother will stay away, realize she's insane, and not worth having zero friends or family for. And now for the update. Thank you for the response. I feel reassured knowing I'm not selfish to stay with the family, and I plan on keeping things how it is and not letting my boyfriend's brother or girlfriend take control of the situation. An update on the situation that sort of gives me more clarity on why everything happened. This morning my boyfriend's mother got a hold of his brother and we all went over again and sat down together. No girlfriend this time. The brother seemed to calm down a lot more and apologized for the commotion the other night. However, he's still backing up on my boyfriend and us breaking up for the betterment of his relationship. There was a lot of back and forth between my boyfriend and his brother. A lot of what he simply chose to stay out of. His brother got angry again. And right before he left, he said, "You can shove that ring up your bottom, don't think about inviting me to the wedding." He left after that, and the room got tense. So my boyfriend opened up to me about something. Basically, he planned to propose to me. Not now, but he bought the ring a few months ago and told his family, including his brother, about it. He said the tension between his brother and him started the moment he told him he planned to propose to me. I didn't know if I should be happy my boyfriend wants to marry or upset that this was sorta over a ring. Now I'm still confused on the girlfriend's behavior, but I think I can safely say that beyond a girlfriend, a big reason the brother was upset was over the fact me and my boyfriend are gonna get married. That's the update for me. Also, a lot of people ask about my boyfriend's older brother's dating history, and I found out this was the first time he dated someone since he was 16. He's 24 now. Anyways, that's all. My boyfriend is bummed out that he had to spill the beans on his plan, but we talked it out and he said he's gonna officially propose with a ring in his planned time. I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna keep my distance from that family though for the time being, just in case any more mishaps happen. So brother and girlfriend are both insecure, jealous types. Crazy squared. That's going to be fun for them. You've definitely got the right idea, Opie. Best to stay away from them as much as possible going forward. God help us when they have kids. That will be the next pawn used to make the family bend to their will. You don't need to distance yourself from his family because 1, they like you, and 2, when you get married, they'll officially become your family too, although you pretty much are already. As for petty girlfriend, I'd suggest that if she dares to show her face again, you kill her with kindness. It'll drive her insane. Your boyfriend's brother may be acting like a toddler, but he's still an adult. And if he wants to throw away his family for her, then that's his choice and nothing to do with you, your boyfriend, or anyone else. Let him reap what he sow. It might be the only way he learns that the world doesn't revolve around him getting access to a vagina. Came here to say exactly this. Don't distance yourself from the family. It's not their fault that a brother and his girlfriend are acting like children. My husband's brother tried many dirty tricks to break us up. He had a reason though. He wanted to pull a stunt over his mother's house and he couldn't do it while husband was still around. He wanted him to go back to living in Australia without me. It didn't work. We're still here 23 years married. So what was your boyfriend's brother's reason for not wanting you two to marry? I'm not sure actually. All I know is that he's been upset since the whole ring thing. So I'm guessing it's because we are getting married. So I'm spitballing based off limited information from the 2 posts, but I think it's genuine envy. He only listed 2 examples, with an 8-year gap between of when the brother has dated anyone. Meanwhile, you and your boyfriend have had a multi-year relationship where the entire family loves you and accepts you as one of their own. So I think brother has been stewing in jealousy this entire time from watching this play out, while having no partner of his own. Now that your boyfriend wants to propose to you, the jealousy is boiled over into full-blown envy. Brother wishes he had a relationship like his brother's, but he doesn't. So now he wants to take what your boyfriend has, but replacing you with his own girlfriend. Which is why brother is giving this ultimatum. It isn't enough for him to have a loving relationship of his own. He needs your boyfriend's relationship to end so he can feel better about himself / his own relationship. I don't think it was ever about the girlfriend itself. Next story is titled, My sister, 30 female, broke my fiancé's 27 male wrist and now he won't marry me, 26 female, unless I cut her and the rest of my family out of my life. We have been together a little over 3 years and have a 1-year-old. Our relationship has been kind of rough because he has issues with employment and his mental health. We got into an argument recently and he left. He was gone for a few days, so I asked my sister to watch my daughter while I was at work. But I had to leave early because he came back and she wouldn't let him in. My sister started interrogating him about where he was and if he had illegal substance on him. He used to do them. My fiancé got defensive and asked her to leave. She wouldn't, and it turned into a big argument and kept putting his hand in her face. So she grabbed it and bended his hand back really hard and snapped and broke his wrist. I had to take him to the hospital and begged him not to file a report. Now my fiancé has given me an ultimatum. Either cut out my sister or he's going to leave. He wants me to cut out the rest of my family too because they heard what's happened and they're on my sister's side. They think he provoked her and brought up all the stuff he did in the past as an excuse, and why I don't need him. But I want to stay with him because our daughter needs her father and our problems can be fixed. But I don't want to cut out my family either. I know my sister and family are looking out for me, but I can't have them always going after my fiancé or him after them. How can I keep both? Edit. He answered some questions in the comments. I knew he had issues when we met, and I wasn't willing to work through them. I was a mess myself when we met, and I've been working on myself a lot. He just has to get there. This relationship sounds insanely toxic and beyond broken. There's nothing to save here. That said, in this particular instance, he's not wrong. She tried to keep him from entering his own house, and then attacked him. But honestly, it's beyond a point. A relationship doesn't progress to this point of chaos unless it's been dead for a long time. Your daughter will be much better off if the two of you focus on peacefully co-parenting. Being raised in a toxic environment is way worse than being raised by parents who aren't together. Absolutely. I could see me and my ex going downhill fast. We agreed the best decision was to split, for my kids' sake. We now get on fantastically, and split parenting 50-50. She's the happiest kid you could ever see. Never stay together for the kids. They know. They learn bad habits and they think it's normal. Your fiancé left after an argument for a couple days? That's not how an adult handles an argument. He sounds flighty. And the fact that he's given you an ultimatum just shows you that you need to stick with your family. They sound like they can support you better than a father who leaves their fiancé and child for a couple days. Now for the last story. Girlfriend, 26, thinks she can do better. I told her to go for it. I, 26, have been with my girlfriend, 26, for over 6 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, and the next day she hit me up on Snapchat. She got my Snapchat from the mutual friend. After that, we went on a few dates, and since I wasn't feeling it, I called it off. We were out of contact for about a year. We again met at a local multimedia institute and were in the same class. Long story short, after a few months we started dating and we have been together ever since. The last 6 years have been fun, and I have enjoyed this being with her. We are currently in a rough patch. Last week we had an argument over petty stuff and she told me that she can do better, and I should be more grateful. I told her that the door is right there, and I don't need her. And if she thinks she's some sort of a prize, she's mistaken. Yeah, I know I said stuff I probably didn't mean, and it was just in the heat of the moment. She left, and after that I low-key thought our relationship had ended. I didn't try to contact her. A few days ago she asked me if I wanted to say something to her via text. I didn't bother replying. Today she apologized via text, and that how sorry she is and didn't mean what she said, blah blah. I don't know what to do. Still hurts what she said, and I don't know if I want to feel this down the line again. Anyone here who has tried going back from a situation like this? Any advice? I want to try to fix things, because otherwise 6 years would be wasted, but I'm very doubtful about our future. I haven't replied to her yet, but I know soon I have to if I want to either fix things or end them. What do you guys think? I know I said messed up stuff and so did she. Please dial down to hate. Edit. I'll start by apologizing and doing what's right. I do owe her an apology for what I said since she apologized for what she said. Other than that, I don't know much. I'll talk to her, and if I feel like this is something I want to be in and she is also on the same page, we will try to sort it out. You know what's worse than wasting 6 years of your life with someone? Wasting 7 years. Yep, that time has already passed. There's no point investing more time if that is the only reason you want to stay. And it's not totally wasted. Probably learned some things and grown as a person and partner in those 6 years. but sometimes you grow apart. OP, if you want to work on it for the positive parts, that's fine too. But don't stay just because it's been X years. That's not a reason to stay. Why would ending it be a waste? To me, you already made your mind. You didn't contact her and don't really want to continue this relationship. The previous 6 years together for the most part have been good. Not trying seems like a waste. I'm feeling very conflicted at the moment. If you enjoyed that time together, it wasn't a waste. Staying with someone because you've been with them for that long is a bad reason to stay. So the question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to continue this relationship or is it over? Both of you said some messed up things. This relationship is over. As you stated, you want to save this relationship because of the 6 years invested, not because you still love each other. Don't fall a victim to sunk cost fallacy. Am I the a-hole because I, 32 female, refused to put my boyfriend, 33 male, on my life insurance and left my ex, 33 male, on it? Plus update. Original post. I, 32 female, have an ex, 33 male, and we have 2 children, 10 female and 9 male. My ex and I had a difficult start in life. I felt pregnant pretty quickly after we started dating. Our daughter was born with leukemia, and we spent the first few years of our relationship in hospital. She's now in remission, thankfully. We also had another child during this time, and our son is autistic. After being together for 6 years, we split up indefinitely when our children were 6 and 5, which was very hard for me and him. After healing for about 1.5 years, I began dating my now boyfriend, who we'll call Jake. Jake was really lovely and kind, and took it slow with me. After a year, I introduced him to my kids. At first, my daughter was not very happy with the situation, but eventually she grew to tolerate him. Jake even has a civil relationship with my ex. Eventually, Jake moved in with my children and I, has been living with us for about 2 months now. When my daughter was born with leukemia, my ex and I had decided to both get separate life insurance just in case anything happened to us. When we originally got them, we decided that we would be each other's trustee. It also would receive 30% of the insurance and the rest would go on our child/children. After we had our son, we updated our life insurances with his name also on it. We have both still honored that. Our reasoning for this is that if one of us was to go while our children were still young, then the other would be left as a single parent and may need some support and stability. I still feel very strongly about this. Now on to the issue. Jake was cleaning up my files in my office when I was at work and had come across my life insurance agreement. While I was at work, he had sent me a message saying, "We need to discuss something important when you get home." Obviously, I was freaking out and tried calling him, but he would not answer me and said he was too angry to talk to me. I run my own business, so I took off early and drove home. Before I left, I messaged Jake to say I'm on my way home. When I arrived, I seen Jake on his sofa glaring at me when I arrived. He threw the life insurance papers at me and demanded to explain myself. I picked them up and asked what the problem was. He began to scream at me and said, "Why is your ex on your insurance that I'm not?" I explained to him my reasons above and he scoffed and said, "Well, you both make so much money now, you don't need to support one another." I was extremely angry at this and told him that it was not his business who I put in my life insurance. The money is mainly for my children and ex, and it will stay that way. Jake replied, "Well, I put so much work into this relationship, and I'm not going to get anything from it. No normal man would want a woman with 2 children who has issues." I saw red. I kicked him out and told him we were done. My children will always come first, and I will never let anyone get in the way of that. Jake packed his bags and left. While he was packing, he shouted at me that I never really got over my ex and we still love each other, blah blah blah. That he knew it from the start, and I'm such an a-hole for not putting him on my life insurance. So Reddit, I have to ask, am I the a-hole? Edit. I should have added that this did happen a few weeks ago. I haven't seen him since then, but constantly receiving messages from him and calls. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Gonna say not the a-hole, but also have to ask, has this situation come up before? Not the life insurance specifically, just him bringing up residual feelings for your ex, or a fear of getting uprooted and losing not just a partner, but at this point an entire family? The situation has never come up before. He does have his own children who are lovely. Him and his ex split because of insecurities on Jake's part. He constantly accused her of cheating and it tired her out. He has been cheated on before by a previous ex. I have tried telling him to get into therapy, but he refuses to go. He constantly compares himself to my ex and complaining I'm not over him. He says things like, "Oh, your ex is always around. Your ex didn't do this for you like I have. Your ex is better looking than me." My ex is around for our children and is a very active father. He was always there for me to help in the house, but since I've been with Jake, he only came around when it was about the children. I'm sorry you're in the situation you're in. Jake has to fix himself before he's ready for a relationship. And it sounds like you gave him stepping stones to do that, but he doesn't want to walk down the path. I hope everything works out for you, but you're definitely not the a-hole here. Not the a-hole. It is I put so much into the relationship and get nothing out of it when talking life insurance is alarming. I mean, we've seen enough forensic files to know what he meant. You dodged a heck of a bullet with that guy. The reality is, if you have primary custody after a divorce and pass away, most courts would grant a surviving parent custody. You did the right thing by ensuring your kids are still taken care of if that unfortunate event happens, especially since one child had health issues and the other special needs. All the better that it at least sounds like you and your ex are able to co-parent. I can't possibly imagine that if something happened to you, Jake could have the kids' best interests at heart, and especially after his very telling reaction about the life insurance policy. Opie dodged a nuclear missile with the red flags Jake was waving around. I like how he was helpfully cleaning up her office and just happened upon her life insurance papers. Now for the mini update. So before I start with a little update, I want to say thank you for all the comments. I'm going to go through them all and try to reply even though it's a lot. I just want to address a few things. This did happen a few weeks ago and I did post in another group, but unfortunately got no advice on that subreddit. I'd left it for a few weeks before my ex suggested this one, because his words are, "Maybe these internet strangers would make you see sense and stop you thinking you're an a-hole. Also, could help you to see you shouldn't get back with Jake." Just wanted to clear that bit up. Firstly, I should have probably added this in the post. My ex and I are definitely not getting back together. We are very good friends, as I am with his husband. My ex always thought he was gay, but he is not from the UK and his parents would disapprove, which they have done so and cut ties with him. I was upset to start with, but loved them both dearly. I was even best woman at their wedding. So yes, I definitely am over my ex. My ex, his husband and I are currently having a lovely glass of wine and discussing the issues around Jake. For the people saying it's not right that I have my ex on my life insurance, let me just explain my point of view. Our son is autistic, so has a lot of issues around his autism. Our daughter, due to chemotherapy, is deaf in one ear and is currently in a wheelchair and has multiple appointments. I am very wealthy and my ex-partner is not. We opted to do private care to get the best for our children. I'm leaving him some money for our children and to help him and his husband financially if anything was to happen to me. I 10,000% trust my ex with our kids' money. My children will inherit all my properties and money. I do have a will, so everything in that sense is sorted. They have trust funds and never need to worry about their future. My life insurance is all my ex gets money from, and a few thousand for my own personal money, as does his husband. Now on to Jake. Currently, my ex, his husband and I are packing up Jake's things and they are going to take it to his parents' house. I informed his parents that Jake and I are no longer together and that we will drop off his stuff at their house. They were sad and wished me well as I did them. Jake continually called me and texted me, which I have ignored these past few weeks, and I ignored him. He has been pleading to me about taking him back and how much he loves me and my kids. However, just an hour ago, he sent the most vile messages I've ever had in my life, calling my daughter a spoiled dramatic little witch who uses her illness to get her way. He called my son some disgusting things, which I won't even repeat. At this point, I was done. I messaged him one final message, saying that if he continued to try reaching out to me, I will be filing for a protection order against him, and blocked him on all platforms. Also, I screenshotted the last message he sent and forwarded it to his ex and his family. I am very aware that it is petty, but I do not care. No one gets away with saying that about my children. I really think I will take a break from dating for a while, and concentrate on me and my little family, which includes the father of my children and his husband. I'm so upset that there were red flags there that I just chose to ignore, or was really oblivious to. Little edit. I know I said I wouldn't post what he said, but screw it. He's a horrible human, and I've had a few glasses of wine. Lol. He called my daughter a cripple and called my son a retarded freak. So he can so screw himself. I'm probably just gonna leave this post now. Time to heal and focus on my beautiful kids. Thank you so much for all the comments and advice. I hope you are all blessed, and I appreciate everyone's opinions, advice, and support. I will definitely be taking a lot of points into my heart. Thank you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife fat? Original post. I, 34 male, work in a physically demanding field. Myself and my coworkers are all fit people, without a lot of body type variety. My wife, 32 female, is fat. The thing is, she's always been fat. The whole time I've known her. We dated when she was fat, we got married when she was fat. She knows she's fat. She's fat and she's beautiful. I'm happy if she loses weight and I'm happy if she stays where she is. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world as is. One of my coworkers, Julia, 28 female, started complaining that she's too fat to be loved, and fat people don't get to be loved. Julia isn't fat. She's maybe 120 pounds. She works out 5 times a week and barely ever eats. I told her that wasn't true and that my wife was fat. She got really red in the face and started telling me I wasn't allowed to call my wife fat, that I was insulting her and that my wife was beautiful and curvy. Carol doesn't like being called curvy. She thinks it's a label used to avoid calling people fat because it's a dirty word to most people. I told Julia as much, and she started threatening to tell my wife I called her fat. She pulled up her Instagram and told me she was messaging Carol that I was being mean. I beat her to the punch and called my wife, put her on speaker, and asked if she was curvy or fat. Carol laughed and said, I hate that curvy nonsense. Fat and beautiful, baby. I thanked her, told her I loved her, and hung up. As soon as I hit end, Julia went mental. She started screaming that I was abusing my wife. When I asked how, she said I was clearly brainwashing her into accepting the term fat, to try to keep her complacent and from getting away from me. That no woman in her right mind could be okay with her husband calling them fat. I showed her a picture of my wife in a shirt that had BBW on it. She bought it for herself, by the way. She stormed off, and hasn't spoken to me since. Now, I just walked in today to an email from HR requesting a meeting with me. I don't think it's a big deal. I have my wife's blog for fat positivity, the shirt, and can easily call her for proof. But now, things are frigid at work. And Julia constantly gives me dirty looks when we were in the same room. She ignores me otherwise. So I'm just over here scratching my head. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife fat? Now for the top comments before reading the update. The difference between your wife and Julia is that your wife loves herself. Julia can't even pretend to. Not the a-hole. Yep, the HR thing is wild. Imagine fishing for validation from a man, your married coworker, going off on him for loving his wife, threatening to DM her, and then reporting him to HR. Not the a-hole. If anything, Julia may be upset because she can't blame her insecurities on this idea of being fat. Or she uses this idea of body positivity to push others into expressing fat phobia she internalizes. Ding ding ding. The wildest thing is, Julia was fishing for validation from a married man, and then went off the deep end quickly. Julia is controlling, emotionally labile and passive-aggressive. Avoid and ignore as much as possible, OP. For reals, Julia was definitely fishing for compliments by calling herself fat, hoping the OP will confide about how his wife is fat and how he hates it. But she wasn't expecting OP to have a healthy marriage to a confident woman. Not the a-hole and your wife sounds awesome. Julia should get a better hobby because she sucks at fishing. My wife is the light of my life. She makes me smile every day and she's the reason I wake up in the morning. Thank you. But this is exactly why people stay so guarded at work these days. I'm 40, and when I first started working, the office culture was always work hard, play hard. And many coworkers were my friends. We'd go to the bar after work and things like that. About 5 years ago, I got written up for talking about how bad my neighbor I had just moved into was, and that I didn't feel safe walking alone at night and definitely wouldn't recommend a woman walking alone. I got written up because a coworker overheard this conversation and wasn't comfortable with the implied topic of rape. That's all it takes. No further action was taken, but I still have that hanging over my head. I know it's on record. I know there is an anonymous woman that is actively avoiding me pretending to have trauma. I am polite and professional with coworkers now, and they don't even know where I live anymore and nothing about my personal life. OP here did nothing wrong, but he did make a coworker uncomfortable. That's enough these days. It doesn't matter if that person has justification to be uncomfortable. They can claim in and then make it a problem for their employer by claiming hostile work environment and so on. Even unjustified, it's time and expense and risk for a company. So that is the way it is today. And now I work fully remote and companies no longer get my enthusiasm. And my coworkers do not get anything more than professionalism from me. I had a slightly different, yet very similar, experience. I didn't imply anything because I didn't say anything like any of what was later related by this woman. It simply didn't occur. Lots of people were right there, thank goodness. When I was approached about it, I offered reassurance that I wasn't even talking about any such thing. I was then told that I hadn't actually done anything wrong, but it was still a problem because the other person felt upset by what they thought they overheard me say. I've been working in an office for about 3 years and never had an office job. I knew from the jump to keep my mouth closed. Be nice, but don't do a lot of talking. I'm 6'3" black man. I don't know anything I say misconstrued. I work with mainly women and they all say I am the quiet one. Nice women, but they talk about some stuff sometimes not appropriate for work. Edit/update. So I met with HR at 4 today. Apparently, multiple coworkers who had overheard the conversation stopped by HR through the day to give their side and weigh in. I wasn't in trouble, they just wanted my side of things. It checked out with what everyone else has said too. I still don't know which of my crew stopped by, but I owe them my life. I offered to show my wife's blog and our rep, who is a really nice girl, told me that if it didn't affect my work, it was irrelevant. The story had been corroborated enough by others. HR reiterated a lot of what y'all said. Even though Julie initiated a conversation, I shouldn't have jumped in. It was less of a scolding and more of a request to keep my nose out of other people's business. I'm sad because I thought Julie and I were friends. We talked about our mental health struggles, the hardships of the field we're in, and heavy things like that. Won't be having those conversations any further. Julie and I will no longer be paired on teams for patient care. I was told my part in the investigation was done, and they thanked me for my time. So I think I'm going to be okay. Before I left, I told HR that if weight loss or body image wasn't supposed to be a topic of conversation, they should consider enforcing that on a company level. We have a weight loss challenge. I suggested making it a fitness challenge instead. She said they'd take it into consideration. So that's it. I wrapped up my treatments. Everything will hopefully shake out. Haven't spoken to Julia. Hoping to avoid her for the near future. Thank you all for the sanity check. Now to quote Clue, I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife. Update. Am I the a-hole for kicking my boyfriend's girl best friend out of my Halloween party because of her costume? Original post. I, 19 female, had a Halloween party over the weekend. I invited my boyfriend, 21 male, and a bunch of our friends over, including his girl best friend. I will call her Agatha. My boyfriend and I had decided to dress up as Peter Pumpkin Eater. If you haven't seen the costume, the guy wears a shirt that says Peter and a girl dresses as a pumpkin. Because, well, you know. I was pretty excited just because I thought it was a funny and cute costume. Agatha texted me the night before the party and asked what my costume was going to be. I explained that couple's costume my boyfriend and I would be wearing, and she replied she would probably just come as a sexy cat. Fast forward to the night of the party. Everyone is having fun and it's a nice time. Well, it was, until Agatha walked in dressed as a pumpkin. She went over and hugged my boyfriend. I swear the room went silent. I got irritated and asked if I could speak with her privately, and we went into my bedroom. I asked why she chose that costume, since she knew the details of the joint costume between my boyfriend and I. She said she didn't see the big deal and thought it would be a better group costume. I told her I didn't think it was funny and I would prefer that she change. I offered her a witch costume that she could borrow for the night. She turned red and started to yell that I don't get to control what she wears. I told her that she was disrespecting my relationship by insinuating that my boyfriend and her hook up. She kept screaming about how it was funny and I needed to lighten up. I ended up asking her to leave. She stormed out of the house and I returned to the party. The mood had shifted and the night felt ruined. My boyfriend agrees that she crossed the line and is planning on cutting her off completely. But a few of our friends are saying that I was being dramatic and I should have let her stay. I guess I'm just wondering, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You weren't dramatic at all. It seems like she just wanted to ruin your couple's costume. You were doing the right thing and talking to her, and she just didn't hear you at all. So, it was good taking her out of your house. It's nice your boyfriend supports you. I'm very grateful to have such a supportive boyfriend. A lot of people were calling him out on my other post for not standing up, but I think he was just in shock and didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. That's the problem though. Not wanting to make anyone uncomfortable leaves you as the one uncomfortable. Obviously you handled it, but still, you shouldn't have had to alone. Not the a-hole. She overstepped by doing that. She clearly knew you'd be bothered, and she may have more than friends' feelings for your boyfriend. I'm wondering if there was ever an intimate relationship between them at one point. Jealousy is an ugly monster. He said that nothing intimate has ever happened between them. I do trust him, because he was honestly shocked she would pull something like that, since she has always treated me with kindness. I think she has decided she does have romantic feelings for your boyfriend, and is intentionally trying to cause trouble in your relationship. She went out of her way to find out what your costume would be, lied about hers, came dressed as a pumpkin, and made a beeline for your boyfriend to hug him. You have a great boyfriend there. Not all guys would be willing to cut out a girl BFF, especially without you pushing for it. You are not the a-hole. She is. Absolutely not the a-hole. She sucks, and knew exactly what she was doing. I'm glad to see your boyfriend is sticking up for your relationship. I would have done the same thing. We talked about it, and we agreed that it would be equally as disrespectful as my guy friend showing up in a shirt that says Peter Peter. Now for the update 3 months later. Well, I have an update. I meant to post one a few months ago, but I really needed time to process the events that occurred after this whole ordeal. I'm glad I waited though, because you all need to hear this one. Many people pointed out that my boyfriend must be sleeping with Agatha since she went absolutely bonkers for seemingly no reason. I thought since he immediately took my side and blocked her and everything that you were wrong. Well, it was me who was wrong. It turns out that Agatha and my boyfriend have been sleeping together for months, and they were just really good at hiding it. Until she decided that she didn't want to be his mistress anymore. I found this out when I was at his house and hanging out in his room. He was showering after a workout, and I heard this vibrating noise. He had taken his phone, and mine was right next to me, so I couldn't figure out what it was. So I opened his bedside table drawer and found a second phone. My gut told me that something wasn't right. Why would he have a second phone? It didn't take me long to guess his password, 1234, and my fears were confirmed. There was a missed call from Agatha. I looked through the messages and found out the truth. Not only had they been sleeping together, she recently found out that she was pregnant. This was the reason she pulled a stunt on Halloween. She was trying to force his hand. I also saw that he was messaging other girls as well, and I was completely devastated. After a shower, he found me grabbing all of my belongings and putting them in my bag. He asked me why I was leaving, and I told him because we were finished. I threw his phone on the bed, and he looked like he was going to vomit. He started pleading me to hear him out, but I didn't want to hear it. He could have all of those other girls. I didn't want him anymore. He followed me out of the house shaking and crying. He even followed me all the way out to my car trying to block my path, and I went over the grass around him and didn't look back. He sent me a long message about how he never wanted to hurt me, that he wanted me back, and how he was using his work phone to text all of these women so I wouldn't find out. That was really helpful. I sent his boss a nice little message about how company property was being misused, but I saw on LinkedIn he no longer works for that company anymore. He is blocked and everything now. I hope him and Agatha have a magical life with their baby. Oh, I heard through the grapevine that he got one of the other women pregnant too. I'm glad I dodged that bullet. As for me, I'm currently in therapy working on my trust issues and learning how to love myself again after this situation. I have been putting myself out there again and have cut contact with anyone who knew what was happening behind my back. Glad you found out when you did, before somehow you ended up baby mama number 3. He's not worth your time. Way to go getting out. I couldn't even imagine. I'm glad that I found out who he truly was before I invested more time and energy in our relationship. I didn't want to hurt you, so I secretly went behind your back knocking up other women left and right. See how much I care? We can work it out, right? Wow, girl, you dodged a bullet. I bet Agatha thought she was the only other woman. I'm sure she is absolutely fuming. The cherry on top is you walking away from this dumpster fire of a mess, going on to live your best life, while those mistress fight over your trashy ex. Have fun, ladies. But in all seriousness, get an STD check. Then get another STD check in a few months. Some STDs take time to pop up. Considering he was as easy as a Sunday morning, not giving a flying F about your health, get checked then get checked again. Even if y'all used rubbers, is not a guarantee. Thank you for that advice. I got an STD check after I found out about the cheating, but I will definitely schedule another one for this week. Yeah, he was a piece of work. I ignored many red flags because I was so happy to finally feel loved by someone. Well, that wasn't real love. I'm glad I found this out before I truly invested more time into the relationship. I'm looking forward to the future and finding someone special in my life. LMAO, tattling to his boss about the phone is the icing on the cake. I'm glad you're taking time to heal and focus on yourself. I honestly had no idea why he even decided to tell me that. He said he only did it because of his access to the second phone, so I just thought his boss would love to know how company property was being used. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying no to my boyfriend's adult daughter moving in with me? I, 41 female, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, 43 male, for 5 years. We both have children from previous relationships. His oldest is 20 minus 9. His oldest lives with her mother, and she and her mother are fed up with the situation. 20-year-old is supposed to be working and attending classes per the terms of her continuing to live there, but only recently got a job and has missed a lot of school. She wants to stay out all night partying and does not want to follow the rules or treat her mother respectfully. Her mother is at her wit's end between the added burden on her finances and the disruption to her household and the younger siblings. I could write a really long novel about all the things that have transpired. Now, my boyfriend has volunteered for her to move across the country into my house that I own to live with me and my kids. He lives here too, but his work takes him away from home for about 10 months of each year in total. His daughter is fully aware of this. Being that his kids are so far away, I can count the number of times I have spent time with them on one hand, and understandably, they have never really felt much desire to talk to me otherwise. So, we don't know each other all that well. I told him I think it is a terrible idea, as I don't want drinking and edibles going on in my house, nor someone coming in late. I also don't want her bringing strangers into my house and around my kids as she starts meeting new people. I get that these are normal things at her age, so I'm not trying to make her seem like a bad person. I just don't want it in my house. I have been working for years in my ability to set boundaries and enforce them, but I'm still terrible at it because it still gives me anxiety and I'm conflict avoidant. I know I'm going to need to get better at this anyway, since the teenage years are looming ahead for my brood, but I worry that I'm not up to this task presently, and she's going to turn my home and my life upside down and be a negative influence on my kids, who understandably think she's the coolest. When I informed him this, he hung up on me. And in the days since, the sum total of our communication has been him asking if I've thought about it anymore, or if I'm still making it all about me. It is starting to feel like this might be a metaphorical hill to die on. So before I persist, I want to know, am I the a-hole for saying no? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend barely lives there. You would be the on-site parent to a 20-year-old that has already completely disrespected her own mother's house rules. He won't be there to control the situation. He is being a total a-hole. This. OP, tell your boyfriend that his daughter is not a child, and not your child. There is no reason for her to move into your home. She's an adult. If she doesn't want to live with her mom, she can get her own place. Or, your boyfriend can finance a place for her if she feels she needs it. None of this involves you. Don't do it. It's not for you, it's for your kids. If she doesn't show respect to her mother, she won't respect your house either. Not the a-hole. And your boyfriend is unreasonable for thinking this is a good solution, when it won't affect him nearly as much as it does you and your family. Not the a-hole. He's volunteered for her to come and live in your house that you own? Hell no. The next time you talk with him, tell him yes, this is all about you. Because you own the house. You would be the one having to live under the roof with her. And you would be the one having to enforce the rules alone most of the time. She's 20, and if she's having problems living with her mother, well then she's an adult now, and she can move out, get her own place, and do adult things. Not the a-hole. Boyfriend is welcome to have his daughter move into his home. But realistically, your home is a place that he visits. He's not there 10 months of the year. If he wants to rent a place for his daughter to live that he stays in when he's in, which may mean that he isn't helping financially with your place, which would be fair as it isn't clear from your post if he covers any of the expenses at your place, that's totally reasonable. But just declaring, my daughter is going to move to your place because she won't listen to her mom, and won't be here so I won't be any help, and what do you mean that's a terrible idea? That's not reasonable. That's a why would you stay with this guy territory. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to put money into a savings account not in my name? Me and my girlfriend have been together for around 2.5 years. We live together and split rent and bills 50-50, but both have our own personal bank and savings accounts and do not have a joint account. We both have money in our own savings account for various things. My girlfriend has a normal savings account that splits for various things and also has an individual savings account specifically for saving to buy a house/get a mortgage. This is something we'd both like in the future, and my girlfriend suggested that I put a percentage of my savings each month into that account so we could both contribute towards the deposit. I said I have no problem paying my half of the deposit, but I'd rather just take it out of my savings when the time comes. She asked why, and I just said I wasn't comfortable putting my money into an account I have no access to, and if anything did happen to the relationship, I could have lost a lot of money. She took this as me saying I think we'll break up, but I was just making sure I was protected in case anything like that happened. She said it seemed like I wasn't as serious about the relationship as her since I wasn't willing to contribute to the savings account. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to put some of my savings in an account that is not in my name and that I do not have access to? Edit. Just to add, her account has slightly better interest rates, and the type of account cannot be opened anymore, which is why she suggested her account. With regard to me getting my name added onto the account, it wouldn't be possible for her to add me as is the type of account you cannot add others to it. Not the a-hole. It is a massive risk. Sounds like you guys need to have open and honest discussions about finances, and if appropriate, have your name added to the account. I hate when people automatically go for the whole, "Oh, so you think we're gonna break up? You don't believe in us. You're not as invested in this relationship as I am." BS. God forbid girlfriend dies, and OP is declared next of kin/POA and has no access to the account. All the money OP contributed would be gone. Not the a-hole. If you're going to put money into a savings account, it needs to be in both of your names and you need to set it up so that you both have to approve any transactions or withdrawals that take place. If your relationship goes downhill and it's all in an account in her name, then that could turn into a nightmare of a scenario for you. I see it as a bit of a red flag that she's now throwing a "you're not serious about the relationship" line at you for you literally being sensible about savings. It sounds like a line meant to coerce you into doing what she wants in this scenario. Why do people just dream up stuff to be mad about? What if there was an emergency and she was out of town and you needed the money? There are so many reasons it should be accessible to both depositors. Not the a-hole. It wouldn't be available anyway. If it's the account I think it is, then it is set up specifically with incentives from the government to encourage first-time buyers. Up to £300,000 in savings, they will add 20% on top. The scheme ended for new entrants, but anyone with an account that is still depositing is able to benefit. So, there's no way OP could get his name added, or get a better deal.